What's up, guys? Pittsburgh Weiss Schwarz back again.
We're back
I'm here
again.
with Andy, Brian, and Zach, and
Howdy.
we're gonna get through Goblin Slayer Blue today and wrap it up, and hopefully have this out there for your Thanksgiving enjoyment.
I know
Andy,
I'm enjoying it.
you want to kick us off here with this Guild Girl?
Sure, we got Guild Girl, show. I fucked it up. I said I wasn't going to. Guild Girl, showgirl of the guild. She gives 500 power to all your characters in front of her, and you can rest her, choose one of your order characters, and they get one of the two following abilities. During this card's battle, when your opponent refreshes the library, you can put the top card of your library to your stock. Or during this card's battle, when your opponent levels up, you may put the top card of your library to your stock.
So this is like a recurable stock charge?
I don't understand what this does, but it must be good because it is a double rare.
I don't think it's that good.
Choose one of your order. I gotta read this again. I'm sorry.
Okay, what it does is
this is a weird one.
It stock charges you from top of deck when you either get reverse or level your opponent up. So the idea is you get a reverse or you swing in an open lane.
Well,
And
not a
level up
reverse.
there.
Your opponent either refreshes their deck or.
Oh yeah, it's not
they level
reverse.
up.
It's not reverse. Okay.
Oh, so you choose one of your characters, and if during that character's battle, you either push them to refresh
Or level them up.
or you push them to level up, you get a free stock.
Okay, so it's not
Yes.
reverse. My bad. I don't know why.
But
I
it's
thought
it's
reverse.
costless, and you can do this every turn.
I mean, but are you really? You're
interesting.
not leveling up your opponent every
You
turn.
can only level them up so much, and they're only refreshing so many times, so it seems a little bit limited.
Yeah, it's a little conditional, but like I don't know, stockless, like no, it's just stockless stock charge if you get it off and you have control over it.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose, but it's pretty
It's not that reliable though.
useless the rest of the time. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it just
Like,
doesn't do anything else. Like especially because this is only a frontal 5 and not a global 5.
Yeah.
Like you feel
even
pretty
if
bad
it
sits
were
there.
global 5, it's like only 500 power, and like
If it was
I
on
feel
reverse,
like we've seen
that'd
some
be
more
sick.
relative back row cards.
If it was on reverse, like I thought it was for some reason, that'd be sick. But it's not that good, unfortunately.
Well, I like that it's like a unique card profile. I've never seen anything like this before. That's kind of a interesting one.
You
It
do
is
get
I just
to
don't know if
choose.
Goblin Slayer can utilize that type of effect super well.
I don't think it can. It's just not reliable enough.
This is really, it's kind of an awkward card, right? Brian, any thoughts? No? No thoughts from Brian?
Is Brian not here?
I don't know.
Oh no,
Well-
I'm here. I can't believe I was muted for that entire card. I was wondering why you guys weren't listening.
Because fuck you, Brian. That's why.
Yeah, your opinions were bad. That's why.
I
I feel like this would be really good, and I'm sorry for cutting you off, but I'm gonna keep going. I think this would maybe be good in like the yellow builds where you're trying to stock charge for the dwarf slingshot combo. The
Just
really
trying to
expensive
get
one.
as much stock as you can.
Yeah, like maybe
stock
this
at
gets
all
one of those
costs.
decks.
Yeah, maybe.
And because
That could be
you have like a
interesting,
rest 2 brainstorm in that set, right? So on the turns where you're not using this ability, right, you can brainstorm for 6 instead.
It is worth noting that like grabbing this if you're running Goblin Slayer level 1 is like pretty free because you're just running that guild girl, or not guild girl, cowgirl like ditch out that just
Yeah.
selectively grabs shit from grave. So you don't need to run more than like 1 or 2 of this, and you grab it costlessly when it will stock charge you, and like throw it out there. It's sort of like a card, but in that case, then you're just using it as like a card from your hand that gives stock that you're
Yeah.
gonna neg with. Like it just provides no actual value outside of the frontal 5, which is kind of dumb. Like no incremental value.
Yeah. I don't know if it's worth the space, even for that.
I don't think it's great, but I think the effect is really cool.
Yeah, I agree. It's
Yeah,
very
it's
cool.
neat.
It's just I don't know how reliable it would be.
We ready for a rating here? I think it's neat
Oh,
enough to take C
yeah.
plus.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
somewhere in the niche realm.
There's some cool deck that uses this. Maybe
Yeah, I
it's the
think it
shot
will
build.
eventually. I think it's gonna find its home in the yellow builds that are trying to just build a crapload of stock.
To
But
pop up
otherwise, I
with
think
dwarf.
that might be its home.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. So we got Priestess, the Gentle Cleric. If your trigger check is an event, choose one of your characters. That character gets 2,000 power for the turn. So that's kind of like the Hanamaru, but that's for the climaxes. And it is a self-tap search brainstorm for any order character, which means any character. Yeah,
if
that's
you're not
pretty
running
good.
standby, if you're not running standby, this is probably your brainstormer of choice.
So there's 2 self-tap brainstorms in the set. It's a good fix for blue too, since you want to run a lot of red at 0, as far as we've seen.
Rest 1, search brainstormer. It's pretty good. This is like Hanamaru, but just better, right? Like it's not restricted to a color or anything.
How many events? How many events are you gonna run in Goblin Slayer on average? Like 6?
You're running 4 torches, two scrolls, maybe
the
4 canaries.
The
some number of canaries,
heal. The virgin heal, maybe. So like
a lot, quite a few.
So like
at least 6, yeah.
So
I think like
6 on average?
6 to 8's a reasonable number.
So like it's not as good as like the Hanamaru for the first effect.
Yeah,
because it's an event, but it's still pretty good.
It's really good when you get it though.
Yeah, it's just really fucking good.
It pushes you over a backup.
It enables those like, I don't know, Brian, like we have a lot of experience playing with that, where like you just attack in that lane last, where it's the lane where you'll either side or crash anyway, because you don't have a better play, and then when you sack climax like a good player, you win the lane.
Yeah.
It makes the deck a little bit less helmet.
Yeah.
Because you have to sequence your attacks. This card forces you to sequence your attacks properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it helps.
I mean, I guess it doesn't force you to, but I mean, you'll feel like an idiot if you don't.
It helps you with power on your turn because the other Priestess, if you don't play climax, which we'll get to pretty soon, is on your opponent's turn only.
Yeah, the power buff here, it feels like the kind of effect that I would absolutely miss the trigger on more than once a game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you're just so used to everything triggering off a climax. So
okay, well, no. Okay.
Very easy to forget about.
You actually can't forget it, just like the Hanamaru. It's a mandatory effect.
Oh, it's mandatory. Okay.
Yeah, so you cannot whiff this. Technically.
Well, I mean, if you forget to do it,
you know what happens when you forget to do it? You get a warning, and the judge rewinds the game state all the way to that whiff, and you go from there. That's how Bushiroad resolves those. You get a warning for missing your triggers, and then you go all the way back and do it. And I'm not saying that's stupid, and I'm not saying that's fair. I'm saying that's what happens.
Isn't that one of those weird trigger things though, where it's just assumed you give it to like a back row character or something like that?
Yeah. They can roll it. They can rule it that way. But I mean, this is the JP translation. We don't know how it will look in English. It might say May.
True.
Anyway, that's more of a technicality than a.
All right, but yeah,
about the card.
Brainstorm is good. Passive effect also good.
Good card. Goblin Slayer, you're running a lot of events. It's a relevant card.
This is your brainstormer of choice.
Is there another brainstormer this competes with?
The cowgirl, the self-rest salvage. So you can, if you.
Wait, I want to go back and look at that one again real quick. What slide was that?
It has the standby synergy. That's it. It has the climax combo standby synergy.
Yeah, discard a card or something and stand back.
The first one we did with red.
Yeah, it's card 28. I'm not sure what slide that's on.
Yeah. I think that card is. I think the cowgirl is much better than this.
I don't think so. I think you have to be running standby.
If you're running,
then you have to run standby.
If you're running standby, the cowgirl is way better.
Yeah, if you're running standby, you definitely run cowgirl. Otherwise, you run this.
Or you run like a split because they're both self-rest, and that's so dumb. Like, it's worth noting that Goblin Slayer is definitely a one brainstormer in the back row set because of the back row support you need to run in pretty much every build. Notably the Priestess back row, which we'll get to. That I keep talking about because that card's dumb as fuck. But yeah, it's like a one brainstormer set, so you're only running 2 or 3 brainstormers in your deck in general. Because you're really not going to brainstorm on first deck pretty much at all because you have the events that you're looping. So you have deck manipulation for first deck that's more meaningful than like trying to hit brainstorms on first deck and be a sack lord. So like you're only running 2 or 3 brainstorms. If Goblin Slayer was like a 4 brainstormer deck or you were running some sort of 4 brainstormer build, I think you like split it 2 and 2. So you just have that like on-demand access to both things on both turns. If you're getting pretty compressed, like the fact that they have 2 good self-tap is really good.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is just a good card, though. I think I'd give it like a B.
Do you
I'm not
have-
really a big fan of that first effect. It's just
Yeah, I
not
was gonna say, do you have any experience?
reliable enough for me. And like,
Do you have any experience with the first effect at all?
I mean, I borrowed your Sunshine deck and played it once. I really don't have any experience with it, but
It's
to
a
me,
lot
I just look at that
stronger.
effect. It definitely is very swingy. Like it can be very good when it's good, but I'd rather just have like a give 500 on climate, like every turn, or like a glow, or like a frontal assist, or something that's more consistent
I think with the
that I
way
can rely on.
I think with the way the set works, this is better though. In general, I think it has a lot more utility than you're giving credit for. But I mean, like we don't have the set, we don't play a lot of JP, so we don't have a lot of experience with it. But the way the set functions and the way the back rows you want to run, I think it's really strong in the deck.
I guess so. Maybe I'm undervaluing it, but I just
You have top check like value. You have top check in the set too, like a lot of it.
Yeah.
That you, especially in the Priestess build, a lot of top check, recurable top check. Like rest a character, look at 2, rearrange top check.
I just feel like I've seen Brainstormers with just better effects than this.
I guess that's
like
fair.
I think other sets have better self-tap brainstorms than this. But like this is definitely like a card. Like if you're not running the Cowgirl standby, this is what you're gonna run.
Yeah, it's worth noting again that this fixes for blue.
It's pretty
at
good.
0. There's not a lot of blue fix at 0, but well, I guess it depends what you want to run. But all right,
all
let's
I
move
got.
on.
All right. We have Sword Maiden, Beloved Archbishop. Level 0, 1500 power. When this card attacks, choose another order character, and that gets 1500 until the end of the turn. At the end of the turn, or at the start of the encore step, if you have no other rested characters, you can pay 1 and rest this. So it has the zombie effect and give 1500 on attack.
It's worth noting that this is like one of the only meaningful like on attack pumps that's like recurable, and is also like this is like the other plussing 0 of choice that people run. Especially because it fixes you for blue, and it's a Sword Maiden, which is important if you're trying to run the Virgin event.
What's the first plus 0?
The Chaser, obviously.
Chaser? Okay.
Yeah, the Chaser or the Yellow Runner. Those
What's
are
the yellow? I'm forgetting what the yellow.
That's the Mill Runner elf.
It's
Just
not
a
Mill Runner.
traditional Mill Runner.
It's a free runner.
Oh, it's free runner. Yeah.
Free runner with Nakios and a shuffle back event effect. So yeah, this is the main way people pump the Chaser over 3K to deal with other oversizes, because it sends it to 4 or 5 level 1. That just like wins every lane. Yeah, it just hits like the perfect power threshold on the Chaser. And then also if the Chaser somehow gets answered with an anti-runner, this has pay 1+. So these 2 cards going second basically unconditionally win board is the idea.
I'm not a huge fan of this.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
I'm skeptical as well. I think that the theory of this card I think is on point. As a card going first, it's totally super okay. So like Saya Bomb, like pay 1+ stuff is totally fine. De-incentivize your opponent from attacking it, because they'll try to just go for damage direct, which is like whatever.
Oh hell no! I'd make you pay your stock out.
Yeah, but you're not bad. A lot of people think that they should just go direct when people have those pay 1+. This, of course, doesn't have the bomb effect like the Saya, so.
The Saya one incentivizes you to go direct, because then
Yeah.
they keep their character and they plus on you. But
Right.
I mean, even if you pay 1 here, that's another turn of clock draw to get into a Chaser, and then you just win board for free, no matter what. Pretty strong. And you can, okay, think about it this way. You can swing this into something and trade, and she can buff herself. She can go to 3K. You can swing yourself this into something, or like clear off a bomb with it, buff the other lane, clear their oversized, then your Chaser's running around on an empty board and can answer anything on their follow-up turn.
yeah, but I don't like the fact that I'm just gonna have to sink 1 into this every turn to keep it alive.
Right.
It's
It's
called
not
a
every turn.
cumulative upkeep for all you Magic players out there.
It's
but-
not an every turn. It's a 1 turn. As in, you throw this down like on if going second, and then if it's good for you to save it, you can. But it helps you just beat over other oversizes. Like hitting 4/5 is good, and she can buff herself. She goes to 3K. That's practically an oversize.
I think it's a very well-rounded card, but here's like my impression on it. I think if you're running one of the on reverse combos, like if you're running the yellow elf deck, right? Or if you're running maybe the trial deck Goblin Slayer, I think he requires a reverse. If you're running one of the combos that requires a reverse, I think this becomes a lot more playable. But I think if you're running the traditional just double rare $40 Goblin Slayer or
I think
whatever it
it's
was,
still
the one that
fine.
searches the torches, I think you probably don't run this.
I don't think that's the point of the card, though. I think the point of the card is to unconditionally win at 0. Like you.
I know it's not the point of the card, but I mean, I just don't. Goblin Slayer has so many good cards. I would have
Okay,
trouble fitting
Andy,
this in.
put it this way. Would you play a 3K that had pay 1 zombie and no other effect?
Yes.
Then that you'd play this card. Look at it.
Yeah, but this doesn't sit at 3K. I have to now
Right.
invest stock into
Then
it.
you put the chaser in the back row.
I would do that. That's something I would do.
Yeah, I think it is very strong as a 2 of or maybe 3 of, depending on your meta, as a card that just makes the chaser even stupider, and has pay 1+, and swings for 3K on its own. I think it's a very good card.
I understand the theory. I am not entirely convinced of it though.
I don't think you guys realize how much value you can like generate by literally turning off your opponent's 0 game for 3 straight turns with the chaser. Not
Like the chaser probably does a good enough job of that on himself, though.
Not at answering oversizes on your opponent's turn.
It is true. I do think oversizes get a lot better once Goblin Slayer drops.
And this is literally
This definitely does help combat it because you get to 45.
it's okay.
This is like tech against their tech.
I don't know if you guys have watched a lot of Goblin Slayer gameplay, but it is not uncommon for a Goblin Slayer player to get 2 to 3 turns at 0 on average, maybe more, because the chaser is so strong at basically allowing you to take only 1s at 0, or because it's level 1, like your opponent can't side it, they have to crash. Like, if they put out, say you have another body on board and they side it with their runner, like a smaller runner, like a 2K, because they can't get over it, to try to plus with their runner on your turn, because obviously you have to manually place your chaser on your turn. It's just a lot. This just kind of just helps you sit there and basically take no damage, or very little damage at 0, and just get additional turns. This is a very integral part of that strategy. And I know you guys don't like zombie effect at 0, but I've been playing with this effect a lot more, and it's a lot stronger than people think. Pay 1+. When I was messing with the Dia and Love Live Sunshine, this effect is really good at 0. For just ensuring you always have an incredible turn 0 play. Just so good.
I think if people gravitate more towards oversizes and the meta does adapt to Goblin Slayer, I think this gets a lot better. But
yeah,
I don't think the meta will. I think people like their runners, and they're gonna keep playing their runners.
I agree.
English loves to say "unga bunga, runner, run away, don't get hit." Ha ha.
I'm literally the only person I know that likes 4Ks at level 0. You guys all made fun of me for putting those Annies in my Attack on Titan deck.
Well, yeah, because they
all
are
told
bad.
me as a fucking idiot. I'm the only one who likes those cards.
Because Armin's 35, and that's big enough.
Yeah, but I can only run 4 Armins, though. If I could run 6, I would.
I think this card is really good. I think you only run 2 or 3 of it, though. I think that if you are really into how good Goblin Slayer 0 game is at just turning off everything else from working, you definitely run 2 or 3 of this. But if you want to mess with other utility at 0, instead of winning board at 0, maybe you don't run as many of this.
I think those are good points.
Yeah, I guess my problem here
Yeah.
is if you're running this as a supplement to assist at level 0 against decks that run oversizes, if you're only running 2 copies of this, when you come up against a deck that actually does run oversizes, what are the chances that you'll see this and the Chaser at the same time?
I would
feel like
literally drop search for it. I think it's that important.
You're not drop searching at level 0 though on your first turn.
You are if you open Goblin Slayer like Chaser on turn 0, and then need to supplement this to answer an oversize.
But I mean, you don't have stock on your first turn if you're trying to answer an oversize.
No,
on
I'm
your
saying
first
you
turn.
go first. You go first. You do have stock. You drop the Goblin Slayer because you run 4 of it. It's in your opening hand because you're a good player. You drop it. Okay, so you have 6 acceptable cards if you're running 2 of this. You open this or Goblin Slayer. You pay 1 plus this, or you drop search this, and answer their oversize that they expected to plus with, and start to bleed them because that's what Goblin Slayer does best. In the opening of mid game is just bleed their opponent turn after turn after turn, because they plus unconditionally and they stay big on your opponent's turn, and your opponent has to answer them. So like, you just constantly bleed your opponent resources through 0 and 1.
So what would you rate the card, Carmen?
I'm gonna give it an A-. I do think you guys have like identified problems with the card that are like relevant and worth considering, but I think that Goblin Slayer just extends the 0 game better than any other deck that's gonna be in English. And I think running cards that support that strategy is like far more than worthwhile. It's a good reactive card.
I'm really hesitant to even give it something in the B range. I want to give it a B-, but I'm like leaning towards maybe a C+. I really don't know. I guess it does hold board at 0, so I'll bump it up to the B tier. But I really think I would only run this card in a deck that has an on-reverse combo at some point, where I might want to, where pumping power is potentially important.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give it a B as well. I feel like it's not fantastic, but it is playable in the right meta, in the right build, with the right setup.
Like Goblin Slayer is just so good that I just feel like there's a lot of competition.
Right. There's a lot of ifs floating around this card, I feel like.
I think it's a personal opinion, but I'd probably prefer just the mill runner.
It's not a mill runner. It's a free runner.
Oh, even better. Yeah.
Free runner and chaser on the same board though are like not great. Because you have to run one and then the other.
I could order. You can order them however you want. Run your runner away from a threat and then throw your chaser in front of that threat.
Maybe. I don't know. If you're not running yellow and normal builds to fix for the Musashi at the top, like really not worth to run the runner in my opinion.
But like, I'm also one of those Unga Bunga runner players you described earlier, so
yeah, well,
perhaps I'm a bit biased.
So now that we've rated the card, it's worth noting that people have this same discussion we just had about this card all the time. This card's pretty contentious. People either love it for like reasons that I stated, or people don't like it for reasons that you've stated. That's pretty common.
Oh, really?
Yeah. People either love it or hate it for those reasons. So
I mean, I think there's some good points on either side for it. So
it's cool that we came to similar conclusions. And in terms of what I've seen, I might be wrong about that, but
it's kind of neat considering that like I know that I can only speak for myself, but I've literally not followed any of like I don't know. I'm literally looking at these cards for the first time right now. So
me too. These are first impressions from me.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move to the next one.
Anyway. Another double rare. Jesus Christ. How many blue double rares are there?
Sword Maiden, Passionate Love. It's level 15, level 3. On play, heal, rest. Look at the top 2 cards of the library and put them on top of your library in the order.
This is a pretty common one of in Priestess and other decks. It does have incremental value, but hard playing it versus like if you want to stand by a support, a lot of people are playing the what is it? The 2K in front with the damage scribe because that's stupid. Which is what this is competing with. But in the Priestess build where you're going to play it from hand, this is a lot more reasonable as a healer. You know,
the one that damage scribes from the back, right?
Yeah, it's just like you play this, you heal. Priestess has to, if you're going to loop Priestess a turn after you've early played her, or if you are a smart player who plays your Priestesses out at 3 because your opponent has set like anti-change in a way, or like you're playing against ReZero and their anti-change, they could like double anti-change you in one turn. So if you're a smart player, you like play this down, this in the back, and because you don't have to have that card in clock because you didn't want to clock or you needed to heal, you can rest this and check your triggers for your Priestess, because Priestess has to trigger a character or an event to get her Neg Soul into the next turn. So it supports that strategy. And Global 15 is always good.
I gotta say, I think the damage scribe would be the better standby target.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But,
you don't
yeah.
stand by this. And
Also,
maybe you run one
there
of
might
it.
be some. I think there might be some diminishing returns with the startup on this. The rest, look at top 2 and reorder them. Let's say you're playing like Canary in your deck and you're already looking at the top 3.
You don't
I
play.
I think there's some diminishing returns there.
You don't play Canary because it's a bad card. But anyway, you play this because Priestess, if you're going to loot Priestess every turn, needs to confirm a trigger on attack to get her Neg Soul, or she is otherwise a worthless card. So.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. So
yeah, that's what I opened with.
Set up. Okay.
Yeah. Also,
I was just gonna.
Jesus, this
I guess
card.
I'm looking more at, like, if from an incremental standpoint, like not just Canary, but any of the many
This is meant.
checking effects this set has.
This is meant to have direct synergy with Priestess effects, whether that be the Priestess Early play, the Neg Soul Wall, the Brainstorm, the hit events on triggers, top 2 rearrange in general, pretty strong effect. Maybe turn after turn, not that strong, but in confirming Priestess and giving Priestess power, because she doesn't get a lot of power unless you're climax comboing every turn. I think this is pretty invaluable as at least a one of, like a tech card, because it's also a healer. Like heals.
This seems way more valuable to me in Priestess Wall builds, because you don't really care about the damage scry if you're playing Priestess Wall, right? Because like they're not really hitting you anyway, so you're not scrying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is a global, and I know I played some of those Soul Wall decks before too.
Wait,
I like the global power on it.
Here's a question. If you don't cancel 0 damage, do you damage scry?
No.
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
When damage you take is not canceled, you took
You didn't
0.
take any
You
damage.
don't take any damage.
I don't know about that one. Let us know in the comments if we're stupid or not. And by we, I mean me. But yeah,
the dumbest
no.
thing that's ever come out of your mouth. Maybe
If you're,
I can't wait to say I didn't cancel 0 damage. Let me scry.
you could probably convince someone you're right.
There
though.
are dumber things in Weiss than that. Come on, guys.
Okay, you're right.
Weiss Schwarz players don't call judges. You could get away with it.
As a support card for Priestess, I think this is definitely a card you want to include at least one of, especially because it's a heal, and Goblin Slayer doesn't have other heals unless you're in 8-gate, really, from what I've seen. So as a healer in blue for the Priestess strategy, that's pretty good. Maybe even in standby, you run like 2 of the other one of this, but the other one is definitely better in standby, the Witch.
The damage
For sure. And this is also all other order characters, so this can be good for your 3rd lane if you only resolve 2 Priestess, which is probably more common to get 2 off. 2 off seems pretty free. 3 off still seems pretty free, but you can't always get a tri-lane.
I think I'm ready to rate it. I'd give it a B.
Yeah.
I think it's the back row card you run in the Priestess Wall deck. But I think in all other cases the Witch is probably better. The one that gives damage scry.
Yeah.
B+ because I value the heal. There isn't a lot of heal in this set, from what I've seen, outside of like the trial deck Priestess that we saw.
The fact that this card lets you confirm the top 2 cards of your deck every turn without having to run Canary seems pretty useful when Priestess needs successful top checks every turn. If you
guys remember that the alarm,
but that's still niche though. That's still like only in Priestess deck.
Are you guys forgetting
universal.
that the Rize that is the clock condition for the card that we are going to look at next, the Priestess, literally looks at the top 2 cards of your deck before you go to attacks.
Well, I don't know, Carmen. Is it a blue card?
No, it's
red.
necessary for you to run. It's the clock condition to early play the Priestess. She confirms her own triggers on the turn that she's played, but not the turn after. This is the follow up to the turn after. Like,
right.
this is the
You're losing me
follow up
here.
card. How?
Well, let's
This
just
is
go to the
not
next
hard to
card.
understand. Let's just look at the next card.
You're just giving up.
Yeah,
Giving up
No,
on me.
well,
Just
it's on
read
the
it.
next, it's on the next slide.
Oh, this one. Another double rare. This is the 5th one for blue. What the hell? Priestess Pure Protector. If Goblin Slayer True Bond is in your clock, this gets a -a level in your hand. When this is placed from your hand to the stage, draw 2 cards, discard a card. When it attacks, if you have the blue gate in your climax zone, reveal the top card. If it's an order character. This is the priestess. This is the wall priestess.
That's literally
Yeah.
what I just said.
Oh, okay. I
Uh,
forgot that we didn't get to this card yet. We've been talking about it this whole time.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and remind me, what does the clock one
It
do again?
looks at the
Before
top 2
climax,
cards.
top check 2.
Top
If
check
it's-
2, put them back.
If it's alarm.
Yeah.
If it's
it's
the
alarm,
alarm.
start of climax step, look at the top 2 cards, put
Yeah,
them back
so
in the same order.
If you're not a fucking
Okay.
dumbass, you get it, and you confirm the card for free on the turn you early play it. Or later in the deck, because you're probably playing at least 3 of the clock condition. So,
But
you
I
can
mean, if it's
refer
not a
that.
character, I mean,
You just attack with
the
your...
deck runs a lot of events and.
You can hit
Or
it.
no, this triggers off events too.
You literally just have to not
Okay.
hit a climax. And if you see another gate, you just attack with your 3rd lane, because then you get to get blue gate back and then play it again. Like, it's just like, in these 2 cards, in its own condition, in what trigger it's on, this is like unconditionally, I think, the best Neg Soul Wall that
Mhm.
we'll see maybe ever.
Well, I think the fact that it doesn't target's a big deal.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the biggest
It's
deal.
huge. It's actually relevant against Attack on Titan.
And I'm on record as I think Neg Soul against Attack on Titan is broken if Hexproof didn't exist. So
Well,
see.
yeah.
We'll see how that
Yeah.
pans out. We
But
don't see a
Hexproof
lot
doesn't.
of AOT versus Neg Soul Wall in English because people aren't that stupid. But
What do you mean that's stupid?
I mean, like,
Carmen is one of those people who's on record. He thinks soul walls suck. He hates Amelia. Biggest Amelia hater.
I am a big
This
Amelia
side of the
hater
Mississippi.
because
He
I
is.
hate Target, and Amelia has this power profile while also having to target, whereas Orisa has a ludicrously high power profile but has the drawback of having to target. This has the best of both worlds. Sits at 10-5. You have good support. You have 2K costless backups. More often than not, this is going to sit at 11-5 before backup on opponent turn. And you don't have to like front attack or catch reverse to get the effect at all. You just have to confirm the trigger, and there are like built-in cards in the set that, like, again, the clock condition that just give you that for free. It's just like so free. Everything about this card and setting it up is super, super free. Like, we talked about, Andy, we argued about it forever, about how the clock condition of Puck being in clock is like the big draw to Amelia over like Orisa, where Orisa you can whiff because
It's a much better condition.
Yeah, this is just even freer in every way because it's that, and then it confirms its own like pseudo condition of not having to hit a climax. Like,
True.
it's just like so stupid. Like, as a Nexo wall, whether you think they're good or bad or it's a good meta call is like whatever. It's besides the point.
Zach's giving it the S. I'm
Yeah.
teetering between S and A, and I would need convincing either way.
Mhm.
Because of how bad.
Zach,
English-
what's your opinion, Zach? Why are you giving it the S instead of just an A or an A plus?
Because it's a Nexo wall that actually affects AOT.
In English, that is really relevant.
Yeah,
That
that
is
is-
fair, yeah.
I think I might have to give it S regardless of my opinions on the card because of how meta defining it will be.
Yeah, that too.
Because, like, people go, oh my god, Priestess is so broken. Oh, how do I deal with the card? Better play Wind. Not realizing that Wind literally makes this card better.
Wind doesn't hit it either.
Wind makes it better because they play it again from hand and they draw 2, ditch 1 into the climax. Like, they just get to play it again. Like, it's...
Yeah, you actually have to kill it.
Yeah, you just have to kill it and not do any damage that turn.
Easier said than done when they have a level assist behind it, and she gets 15.
Not
Right.
even, dude. The fucking... So, the other thing is, this is going to win lanes with power if you're running the Priestess Assist, which I think is in like 5 or 6 cards. And for sure on your turn, it's going to win power battles. And then coming back, it's going to sit at like 11-5 if you climax comboed, back up to 13-5. Without like people investing heavy like resources into power pump. Or like being Bang Dream and having something stupid like Cosme.
Is there any direct hate for a card for Soul Walls at level 2?
Anti-change.
Anti-change,
Being ReZero.
Yeah. Smug Melee is pretty good against those.
If anything, I think this might push more people to play ReZero if they see a lot of Priestess Wall, where you just see people running 3 sack counters because that's totally a thing ReZero can do and not feel bad about. Like, they can just run, like, 1 Reinhard backup and 3 Amelia backups, and that's fine.
Yeah, ReZero is a great set. There are just some cards in ReZero that some people like to run that I don't particularly care for.
Yeah, shut up, Ryan. I love Felt. Fangtooth Tribe.
I think I'm going to agree with Zach here and give the card the good old S. I think
It's
you guys have made strong arguments to the point to point out that the card is in fact meta defining.
S/A-. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I was going to give it an A due to the fact that I feel like the card on its own maybe
I forgot that you couldn't wind it.
Yeah, maybe really isn't that great if you are prepared to counterplay it. But the fact that it is going to make such a big impact on the English meta, I think, is a huge relevant thing to consider.
So, S/A because obviously the card is very strong as a Neg Soul Wall. Goblin Slayer is the Neg Soul Wall set if you want to play it. I think Neg Soul Wall is a local Slayer and like first 5 rounds of Swiss Slayer. I literally think you will cakewalk over every person at your locals that isn't good, and like every person at a regional until round maybe 5, like 6 or 7. You will see someone who has built their deck to not only have a tech answer to this card if they expected to see a lot of it at an event, but also generally knows how to approach a matchup where an opponent is playing an early play Neg Soul Wall. And because of that, the fact that you could just ride this to like 5x minimum at a regional, like just this alone, because it's so easy to get off, it's so easy to like get multiples, it is good against AOT. Like, all those reasons. But the second people figure out and start, like, teching against it, it's still a good card, but A-. Like, the second people catch on, basically.
Not to mention the rest of the set is insanely good, too.
Right.
Like, the rest of the bones around the deck, you know?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think we covered basically everything about this card. It's good. You're going to see a lot of it. Be aware of it. That's about it.
Carmen, tell me about this promo.
Alright, what is this? This is an ordinary Peace Priestess. It's a bomb, bottom decker bomb. It's boring. It's boring. What is this effect, like, on its own? Do we care at all?
Just bottom deck suicider.
Yeah.
C, D plus? Like, I don't...
Can't encore, I guess.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's niche. It goes in your Priestess waifu deck.
It's like a fine effect, but I would expect to see
literally any other piece of text on this card. It's cute art.
I expected another line of text here.
It's cute art. I like the flavor text. It just says Priestess. But yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, it has to be D. This card needs another line of text on it.
Yeah, I mean, this card feels like the appropriate power level for a promo.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Not that Bushiroad cares about that one. All right.
Not in Goblin Slayer, at least, yeah.
It's pro out of 10.
Oh, we got the hentai lips on this one.
Ooh.
What do you mean hentai lips? What does that mean?
Okay,
lips,
so
dude.
I keep making this joke. So the Goblin Slayer author, like, of the light novels, is like notorious for like very, very heavily detailing in text, like the texture of female characters' lips and other things, and it was like shown in the show as like these like very weird, like meant to be sultry, like hentai lips is what I called them.
I mean, I guess I see
if
a little
you
bit of
go
a
back-
lip on this character.
if
That's
you-
definitely kind of I guess you don't see that a whole lot.
If you
Yeah.
go back and watch the show, like, or haven't seen it before, just like kind of pay attention to it. There are lots
The
of like
lips.
very weird, awkward close-ups of lips and mouths that are very out of place, and it's because.
Oh
of the
damn! I'm
author
scrolling
said
back through these cards and I got the canary. There's some lips on that.
it. Stop
There's some
talking
lips on
about
that.
Canary. You're worse than Brandon and Ghost Council. All right.
All right.
Who's telling us
g-
about this?
This is me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's you.
Okay, we've got Guild Girl and Ordinary Peace. If all of your characters are order, this sits at 6k.
You
It has
can't whip
repeat-
that.
It has repeatable pay 1. This gets 2,000 power for the turn.
I don't think you can whiff the first effect, so it's a 6K.
You can't. No.
It is literally every character in this set order.
It is the
Oh, I'm
common
sh-
trait.
Are there
we-
no, are there no traitless characters like in
Mm-mm.
Bunny Girl?
It's
Mm-mm.
Oh, we'll find basketball man soon enough.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, I don't think you can whiff the first effect. So
Yeah, I
it's a-
don't think you can.
It's a 106K with send it to 8, 10, like
It's
Yeah.
already overstated. A 106k is already overstated, and then you can just
Potential-
ramp it through the roof. It's a good stock out if you need to just
Yeah,
clean out
potential payout
some filthy
climax.
stock.
are we
Mhm.
really like considering this card as anything other than maybe like D plus?
I think it's C. I think it's neat.
Yeah.
I think it's
I
a
think
C
it's-
probably.
I think it's okay.
All right.
It's not bad at all. Walls up. It's cross turn too.
I won't change my rating.
I mean that's fine. I understand where you're coming from. I think this deserves some like consideration. Maybe
This
maybe
will-
in like standby builds, this wouldn't be a terrible standby target.
This will be pretty good in her Guild Girl waifu deck.
Yeah, Carmen.
Does
Carmen
she have enough cards?
Probably.
maybe.
I don't think she has a single card above level 1.
I don't know, Carmen. You won't be a pioneer of the English meta with that attitude.
Oh my god.
You should build Guild Girl Wifey. I'll trade you all my Guild Girl promos for your Cowgirl
It
promos.
just all comes back to Ghost Council, doesn't it?
They're all box toppers. It's a fair trade.
All right. Let's just move on.
Priestess, my special reward. When on play mill 2, if there's at least one level 0 low character among them, this means side attack without soul penalty. When it goes to waiting room from stage, mill 2, if there's at least one level 2 or higher card room from them, this goes to stock.
So this is Snotqua that doesn't have to like front or crash. This is just Snotqua but better. It has I don't know. I like Aqua a lot. What do I like more, Aqua or Pouty? Crying Aqua covered in garbage or Pouty Priestess. This does have an additional effect that's like actually good.
Doesn't
what is-
Connor Super run a lot of level 2s and 3s though?
They do.
I mean, but what if you're playing standby? What if you're playing standby shot? This card gets run in standby shot for sure.
Oh, to build stock, absolutely.
Yeah. So this is like, no. Well, look at it this way. This is if this attacks on the turn you play it, this card goes through 5 cards. That's pretty strong. Like four cards outside of attacking. Because it's when it goes to
Yeah.
waiting room, you can overplay it. This is 4-card mill.
Yeah.
That's
And-
relevant, yeah.
When this is put into the waiting room from your stage. So you can play over it and send it to stock. Say you like scry top with your drop search after you
Yeah.
do it, and you play this and you want stock, you like play over something over this if it was like sitting there or something, and it just pops the stock. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
I-
I think
I'm-
this
Yeah.
this card's made even better by the fact that Goblin Slayer has access to so much top check.
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't
this is good.
Snotqua needs to be reversed, doesn't she?
Yeah.
This
This
is
just
just when
goes to
dies.
waiting room. So you can play over it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I like this card.
Yeah,
Hmm.
the more I like look at this and think about it, the more I like it. And it has good art, it's good character, all around. I'll give her a special reward of A minus. I really like this effect. I really
Yeah.
like Snotqua too.
Yeah, so do I.
I'm gonna give it an A. I think it's a good card.
If you run our like build stock, like this is just an extremely good like tech card option for like just
Yeah.
building a lot of stock. It mills 4 on its own. That's so good.
I guess I really don't put any value on that first effect. to be honest. But
It's a 2-card mill.
the Snotqua effect
Mhm.
is pretty good.
I mean, just imagine playing this at level 0 and being
Read-
able to side attack past a chaser.
Even if you read it like
Dang,
You
Goblin
can't-
Slayer mirrors. That's
you can't side attack the
meta
chaser.
defining. Oh, you can't side attack.
You can't side
It
attack the
reads
chaser?
this.
Imagine killing your priestess and getting a free stock.
I mean, this still means this card is like in some way relevant at higher levels, though, because you can side higher level cards.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think this. The more I think about it, the more I want to like mess with this card in
Yeah.
decks with high
It's
stock
fine.
overhead.
Yeah,
If I- if I-
combined with Goblin Slayer's scrying capabilities, you could just turn a card from your hand into stock
Yeah.
by playing it and then playing over it immediately.
Mhm.
What if you like? I don't know. You could like clock the Rize, look at 2, like, and then this attacks with the card that's not with the card that whiffs, and then you mill the level 2 or higher and send it to stock because you have look at 2.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't even care what the benefit is for hitting whatever. It's just 2-card mill on play. That's more than fine.
hmm
All right.
Yeah. If I were playing Goblin Slayer, I would play this card.
Oh, you
Next.
will. You will.
You caved on AOT, Brian. You'll cave on
Is this one me?
Yeah.
All right, we got Guild Girl Daily Thrill. When you play her from your hand to the field, the top 2 cards of your library in the waiting room. If you hit a climax, choose one of your characters. They get 1,500 power, and when her damage is canceled, you can draw a card. If you do, discard a card.
Another card where
That's pretty good.
the best part of it is the mill.
It's another mill
Yeah.
card. Yeah.
Yeah, the second effect is garbage.
I kind of like the second effect. It's kind of like a nice little bonus, you know?
Yeah,
But
it-
why would I
it's-
ever run this card?
Well, it's guaranteed draw ditch because your opponent always cancels.
Yeah.
Damn. What great reductionist logic.
You can't argue with that. Come on, Carmen.
If you're a pessimist, I guess you run this card, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The best part about this card is the art in the mill. I'm gonna
Yeah.
give it. I'll give it a C- for that. Mill
Yeah.
2 on a stick is good.
Very
She can,
good.
she can choose herself. But yeah, I don't know.
I
Don't
think I'd
like
still
it.
give it probably a D. There's just so many other
Yeah.
better cards in Goblin Slayer. It's an interesting one, though. It's not bad or anything. D doesn't mean bad. It's just
I really
Well-
like these like foil background cards, like artistically.
the stained glass sort of.
Yeah, these like stained glass cards. I think these are they all have really cute art. It makes the character designs pop a lot. It's unfortunate this card's bad.
Yeah.
Let's
Speaking
move
of
on.
art, light novel art coming up next.
Is this me?
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right, was this Priestess Innocent Smile? Is that what this is? 67?
What's wrong with her eyes? Jeez.
Priestess Innocent Smile. When this attacks, choose one of your order characters. That character plays. Wait, is this just power creep? Shimakai on a
Yeah.
0 for 25.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
Power creep.
So like, okay, wait. So when 1-0s have this, they're 5Ks. So minus 500. So I guess it is on stat line.
It's the same stat line.
I don't
yeah.
know what other zeros that do this are, but that's pretty good. Shimakai
25
has a good effect.
Yeah, 2,500 is much more reasonable at level 0 than 5,000 is at level 1.
But your 0 lineup is so tight. How do you make
Yeah.
room for this? As
Remember
a
how we were
zero.
all shit talking that Sword Maiden before the double rare, the zombie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather run the zombie than this.
Yeah, for sure.
You're right.
Because this is plus 2k versus plus 2k with a full board doesn't have as much value at 0, whereas the Sword Maiden has like almost
Tons
the
of
same
value at
all
0.
the time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't think I can give a Shimakai worse than a C though.
C+. Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
it is a good effect. It is a decent profile.
It is.
Yeah, it's still a relevant card if you wanted to run your deck.
Priestess waifu only maybe.
You
Yeah.
guys are saying Shimakai like it's something I should know, but
It's the plus
I-
X. It's plus
not
X,
like a huge fan.
plus X times 500 for other.
Just
You just-
fake it till you make it, Andy.
Yeah, you just let Carmen.
you make it. That's a good one.
You just let Carmen say words sometimes.
You just make up random
These are
Japanese
very
words.
normal
You're just
things,
pulling out your
guys.
Japanese dictionary and flipping open to a page and saying,
Look.
"Oh, that's what this card
Okay,
is."
sorry,
Shimakai.
I closed it. My bad. All right, I put it away. Okay,
Carmen,
next,
you're embarrassing Andy.
next card.
I'm mad triggered, bro.
All
Bro,
right.
you're up.
We have Priestess, Forward-Looking Eyes. 1,000 power backup. When you use the backup of this card, if you have an order character, choose a character in battle, gets 1,000 power. So it's a 2k backup.
So you can't whiff the first effect because you have an order character to play a backup on.
Yeah.
Because everything's order. Yep, it's a...
2K backup.
2K
We like
backup.
We like 2k backups,
Yeah.
yep.
B plus, not quite an A, because I don't feel good giving a 2K costless backup an A like it's something special. But there are sets in English that don't get this, like Batman Ninja. It would be too broken for Batman Ninja to have a 2K backup.
English exclusive card captor Sakura.
Yeah. Does
2K
it have
is too powerful.
Yeah, 2K is too powerful.
Oh,
We
can't
need to
wait.
start like walking around the Bushy Road big like regional tournaments and just have like boycotts and have our big fucking signs and go on strike and then say 2K is too much.
Yeah, 2K is too much.
Justice for Batman Ninja.
Yeah. But yeah, really important. It's good that this is blue instead of red because it helps you fix for blue. Since you're like, primarily red going into one, but you also want to play the back row and stuff. So it's good that
it
it's
makes
blue.
sense. Priestess is a healer,
Yeah. She's the defense. So
Support.
it's the manic. All right, next card.
Sword Maiden, Clear Skin. On play, top check. If it's an order, this gains 2k. And when this becomes reversed, if the cost for bad opponent is 0 or lower, you may bomb deck that character.
Okay, so it's a 1/0 cost bomb.
That
gives power. Wait, this is just costing me, but it's a cost bomb.
No, this gets power.
Yeah, this gets power.
Oh.
Cosme gives.
Yeah,
power
that's not as
anywhere.
good.
Yeah,
Cosme's broken.
Cosme's also not a cost bomb. She's a
Yeah,
level
who
bomb.
cares?
Well, against standby targets. I don't know.
Well, this is a bottom decker. I think that's what you meant.
Oh, it is a bottom decker. You're right. Yeah.
I think that's the important part here. But against a standby target level 0, you're not gonna. You can't hit a standby target.
What's the
with
bomb again?
Right.
The witch with choose your trigger. This is just worse than the witch that choose your trigger.
If anything, the power buff makes it harder to become reversed.
It does peak. It does peak the top card of your deck, which may or may not be relevant considering.
It does, but then it goes to 45, and against level 1s, that's not really hitting over that much.
This also doesn't hit on event, and you're incentivized to run 6+ events in Goblin Slayer. Between 5 and 6 events.
This is just really hard to play.
Yeah, I don't know. It's cool they have it. It'd be neat if the 2,000 power could go anywhere. So I'm gonna give it a C, just straight C.
I'm gonna give it a C-. It's kind of underwhelming. I guess it's playable in your Sword Maiden waifu deck.
It's really crazy that they just slapped a wig on 2B and they just threw her into the show.
Yeah, I can't believe they got away with that.
Yeah, wild, crazy.
Dude, Nier Automaton. English exclusive.
Automata, please. Oh, that'd be sick, dude.
I would play that. I would play that.
I'd max rarity that set day one. I love Nier Automata.
Yeah, Nier Automata was great.
Yeah.
I've only played the original Nier. I haven't played the
Automata's really good.
Automata's very good, yeah.
I've heard good things.
All right. Next card.
Good card coming up.
Oh, it's Carmen's playmat.
Yeah, this is my favorite art in the set. I mean,
Priestess, Virtuous Maiden. All your other order characters get 1,000 power during your opponent's turn. I like that. When a climax is placed on your climax zone, choose your characters. They get 1,000 power for the turn. Oh, this is the Married Life on Crack.
Yeah.
This card's great.
Yeah, this is Austin's cracked out life. I think this card might be broken.
This card seems very strong.
This is pretty good.
This is pretty dumb. Like, so it makes it so your Goblin Slayer swings for 7k and sits at 7k, or swings for 8, then sits at 7, with 2k backups on top.
Mm-hmm.
That's stupid.
That seems dumb, yeah.
I don't think I could call it like an S tier card because I don't think it's like a staple, but this is a very, very good
Look
card.
at that art, dude.
Yeah, that's an easy A for sure.
If we cared about monetization, I'd have to censor this card, but I don't. I'm gonna give it an A+. I think it's on the, verge of being busted.
Well. Whoops.
I don't know. They did it to No Game No Life. You just wait.
Like, I feel like this card is like almost broken. It's relevant the whole game. Like the whole game,
yeah.
This is a relevant card. Oh Jesus, sorry. The whole game, this is a relevant card. The art is OP. It comes in SR. What more do you want? Like,
Well, you were saying before that blue might be kind of hard to fit, generally speaking. I don't know.
When it comes
It's
to how you play
definitely
the
really
deck-
good. I just don't think it's like a staple, you know?
Yeah. I do think it puts the Goblin Slayer 1-0 over the edge.
Yeah.
And being super, super dumb, as opposed to just really dumb. It's just like the perfect card that Goblin Slayer would want to play, and the art's broken. Just look at it. That's broken art.
You called me the lolicon. Jeez, Carmen.
Next card.
Carmen
Nice
is-
diversion tactic.
Is this me?
Yeah, that's you.
What was the name of that card again?
Virtuous Maiden was the last one.
Happy
I
end.
lost it.
Inevitable
Priestess,
happy
inevitable
end.
happy end. Okay. If this, you have 2 more order characters. It sits at 2K. It sits at 6K, and it has hand on core. Boring.
Do we like the Guild Girl promo better? I think I might actually like the Guild Girl promo better.
And let me go back and look at it.
The Guild Girl promo sits at 6K more reliably, but this card
Boo.
sticks a little
Boo.
bit.
I think I'd rather have the pay 1 plus 2,000
Silica's in
than
the
the
set.
hand encore.
Boo.
Just a
Silica.
vanilla 6K. Who gives a shit about hand encoring it?
Silica's in the
you're
set,
right.
guys. There's no
Silica's in the
reason to
set.
care about this card.
It's okay.
She gets the D, but
It gets a
He's,
plus because
Yikes.
it has encore.
it's
at all.
Alright, yeah.
above vanilla stats.
Yeah.
It's fine, I guess.
All right. Next.
Sword Maiden, Silent Appearance. If you have 2 or more other order characters, this gets 1,000 power for the turn. For the turn? For
Yeah.
always. For continuous.
For the turn.
It continuously gets 1,000 power this turn.
That it gets very big.
Boucher would fix this.
5,500 is pretty
No,
big.
Continuous
Yeah,
always right.
Infinite loop. It continuously gains 1,000 power. Repeatedly.
Yes, infinite power.
Yeah. When this
Okay.
card's battle opponent becomes reversed, if Portrait of a Wavering Maiden, the book, is in your climax zone, put 2 cards from the top of your deck into your stock.
There you go. Run that with the dwarf.
So it's a 6/5 on reverse stock charge 2.
I think the witch stock building combo is better than this.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Yeah,
what'd she
yeah,
do
yeah.
again? I remember that kind
She
of.
reached into her titties and gave you stock.
Yeah, she it's combo with a stock soul. Choose her and another character. They get on reverse blind stock top, I think.
Yeah.
That's better.
I'm looking.
This is like a blue option to that if you want to run that for some reason.
Yeah.
It's too small.
If you really like book.
Yeah, it only gets up to 55 with
And
climax.
like blind stalking 2 in a row means like you're incentivized to what? Attack with this last? If you're only
Yeah.
gonna combo 1? I don't know, Brian. Tell us about how bad Shoko is.
Well, I did try playing with that Shoko that blind stocks too. It lost. Let's just say it lost me more games than it won.
Okay,
me.
well think about it this way. That's even worse because it does it before you attack, right?
Yeah.
This is just on reverse.
Which, if you get one of these off, is fine. I guess it doesn't plus you in any significant way, though.
I mean, if you pay, okay, think about it this way.
I mean, I guess two stock
if
is
you
equivalent to
double-
a card.
if
which
you
is a
double,
plus.
if you double combo, you can pay 3, save a card, and that's a plus.
Wow.
Yeah.
It gives you encore.
So if you get 2 reverses, you plus 1. Pretty
I don't-
crazy.
I don't like this card.
Yeah. It's like a budget combo that doesn't know what it's doing. I'll give it a D plus just because I'm sure there's some application for it.
Maybe.
Sword maiden waifu.
I had to go back and double check what you gave the witch. I guess you guys aren't far off from your original ratings. I think I'm still gonna rate this one. Well, I gotta get back to the slide.
89.
You guys all gave it D's. I'm gonna do what I did with the witch and give it a grade higher than you guys because I think stock building combos are like could be pretty good in this set. I think it's a unique angle to try to go from, but I think the witch combo is probably better than this. Also, considering the witch is off of stock soul, which builds more stock.
Yeah.
This is off of what book?
Yeah, but this is I
hate book.
your plussing trigger.
Book. Gross.
I despise book.
Book or bag, you make the choice. Next card.
Guild Girl, full of assistance. It's a level assist. When the blue stock soul is placed in her climax zone, chooses up to 2 other order characters and our characters with Goblin Slayer in name. And during the turn, they gain the following ability. When this card's battle point is reversed, look it up before, choose an order character, put in hand, discard the rest.
So it gives 2 characters on reverse Akatsuki.
Man, that seems like a power creep to me. I've only ever seen this sort of back row card give it to one character.
Is
Yeah,
that a
I
stock soul?
I guess this is a level 2 though.
Can someone
Yeah,
check
this-
if that's stock soul?
That's stock soul, I checked.
Okay, the fact that it gives it to other characters and it's a level assist is kind of cool. But like, these level 2 combos are bad.
Yeah.
Does give it to 2. So
Hey, maybe if you're playing mono blue or something. I don't know. I guess this does kind of compete with the Priestess wall though.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know why you would run this over any level 1 or level 2 combo available in this set.
Oh, maybe you just really like Guild Girl
Yeah.
or don't have
Yeah.
a lot of money.
This goes
I
in your
guess,
Guild
yeah.
Girl waifu.
Guild Girl waifu.
Seems like a
looking-
decent budget option.
You're looking
Yeah,
to
it's-
improve your trial deck. This is better than the 2 empty climaxes they put in your deck, I guess.
That's
Hey, there you
that's
go, man.
true. That's true.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but
I'll give it a C- because of that. Yeah.
Yeah, the card itself isn't horrible. It's just it's in Goblin Slayer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh.
I love stock soul.
There's a lot of competition for level assists in this set though.
Yeah, there are.
Are we sure
lots
it's
of-
stock soul? It's not split 2K. Yeah.
I
it's
just
stock
checked.
soul.
It's blue stock soul. I just looked. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next.
Another climax
We
card.
got Sword Maiden, the hidden true heart. The climax is just lips, Carmen.
Yeah, I told you. I fucking told you guys. No one ever believes me when I say anything.
Anyway, during your turn, for each of your other order character, this gets 500 power. So it sits probably at 9,500. And if you have the blue gate in your climax, when you reverse, choose up to 1 order character in your waiting room, put it in your stock, search your deck for a order character, put in your hand. So you get a selective stock charge and search on reverse.
And it swings for 10-5 with the
95,
climax?
10-5.
Yeah. 10-5 at full power.
Okay, I take what I said back. Don't put the Guild Girl combo in your deck. Put this in your deck if you're poor. That's
Yeah, this is
better.
a little bit better.
This is okay.
Off
yeah.
of blue gate too.
Yeah, Blue Gate. So if you just throw this in alongside your trial deck combo, it's a lot better. Because it's
Yeah,
stock
that's not
charge,
horrible.
selective stock charge, and thins your deck. Helps
I don't think it's a
cancel.
bad climax combo, like, in general. Like, if you think you can get away without a level 1 combo, like, on reverse stock charge search is not too bad.
Maybe.
not.
2-1
If you have, like, if you have some other engine you want to run at level 1.
It does refund
don't know.
itself. It doesn't sit it big on your turn, though.
No, it's
Like other
75.
characters.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, I don't know. There are other cards that exist. I'm just going to stay in my lane here. Shiroha, who is a 2-1, who sits at 9-5 cross turn, has, like, stock charge top of deck, plus from waiting room. So, like, compared to that, that's an objectively better profile.
Yeah.
Compared to this, if you were just going to play the 2-1 from hand. The stock charge is, like, selective, but at that point, I don't care if I'm playing a 2-1 from hand. I just want my stock back.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this card the same thing I gave the last one. I think it can be okay, but it's definitely not
I'll
a.
give this one a C because it's better than the last one for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and change that to minus. There we go. There we go. That C minus. C never happened.
All
I
right.
don't know. I feel like there are situations in which I'd like the Guild Girl combo a little bit better.
You just
Yeah.
love Stock Soul.
I do love Stocksoul.
All right. Next.
No. Not a big fan of pants.
This is me.
Yeah.
Guild Girl. What is this? 73?
Yep.
Guild Girl, full of assistance. Or no, Guild Girl, super rare shot.
Super rare shot, yeah.
Super
Yeah,
rare
75, not 73. On play, you can ditch a card, and if so, you reveal top, and you... Oh, this Rico's. That's kind of cool. This is on play Rico effect. So you reveal top, and then you salvage for the level of the card revealed, or
Mhm.
lower.
Okay.
Nice filtering tool.
Yeah.
Rico
Yeah,
is very strong. Combined
Yeah,
with the
full
top check events, Rico's like, as a come and play, it's worse because like Rico's dumb. She sits in the back. She level assists. She does this every turn.
Mm-hmm.
But knowing the top card of your deck, it is just ditch a card, learn the top card of your deck, and exchange for at worst a 0.
Mm-hmm.
I think you might be overvaluing it a bit, though. I think the Rico effect is specifically very strong in Sunshine because you're doing a lot of yo burns.
Okay, think about
off
it this
the
way.
top burn effects.
Guaranteed exchange for a 0 is pretty good in your
That's
rating
It's
room.
not bad. Yeah.
A 0
okay,
or
but-
better.
I mean, being able to filter climaxes out of your hand is a big deal. But Goblin Slayer already has so much good.
Yeah,
so much
I
good
can't.
filter.
I can't see myself running this over the Guild Girl or not Guild Girl. I keep saying it. The Cowgirl that either event and climax ditch salvages on play. Or what is it? It's specifically Torch, right?
Torch is Torch.
Yeah,
or
so it's
Climax.
Torch and Climax, and they both go off, so you can do it twice if you want. Or the Box Stopper PR, which is just a 2-card dig that also lets you filter twice. I can't see myself running this over either of them.
Yeah.
Still a good effect.
Unless
yeah,
I
it's
needed
still a
blue
fine
picks.
card.
Yeah. That said,
C plus.
yeah. That said, I think ditch outlets are still reasonable. I find it interesting that they that this effect is worth 2,000 power.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's maybe not worth that much, but I think the effect itself, the fact that it's a ditch outlet that guaranteed gets you a card back is still.
I
is
think
still
it's because Rico's on the 4 choose one, or is it 3 choose one? I don't know. She's up there on the ban list, and this is printed long after the ban.
right.
The restrictions happened, so
Mm,
they probably
Also, Rico's a
overvalue the
level.
effect.
Rico's a level 2. This is a level 0.
right.
Yeah.
And
And
you have to, yeah.
Rika's repeatable too.
So I'm gonna give it a B- because I've have firsthand experience about how powerful that effect can be. Depending on how much utility you're running in your deck, maybe you consider this. But I think it's a fine effect, perfectly playable effect. If you don't,
Absolutely.
especially if you can't get your hands on box topper promos, maybe this is your secondary filter. So
Yeah,
Pretty
Alright.
good for an uncommon.
it is.
Mhm.
next, speaking of cards that are pretty fucking good for an uncommon,
All right,
Jesus.
Sword Maiden, welcome to Watertown. When this card is placed from your hand to the stage, you may pay 1, clock yourself from the top of the deck. If you do, search your deck for a character with Goblin Slayer in its name, reveal it, put it in your hand.
Wow, Ricky at uncommon.
Ricky at uncommon for Goblin Slayer. Seems pretty good, yeah.
Considering the trial
her
deck
city
combo.
actually called? Is her city called Watertown in the show?
Yep.
Yeah, so did you
Really?
not catch the part of the show where no character has a name, none of the locations are named, everything is unbelievably generic, and
I love it. I think that's hilarious. Watertown.
yeah, I was reading
I didn't catch that in the show. That's funny.
I was reading a thing, and I think I mentioned this before, that like the reason it's like that is because tabletop pickup in Japan is like very sort of like drop in, drop out. So people don't name their characters and stuff as much or give a lot of backstory like Western tabletop players do. They kind of just go with the class name and go with the flow is pretty common. I remember reading that somewhere. I might be completely wrong, But you know.
We learned something today.
But yeah, I don't know if you want to run a Ricky. This is pretty good. All the combos that
Yeah.
are worth playing at level 1 include Goblin Slayer, including the one in the trial deck. Like,
Yeah.
Goblin Slayer is just becoming like the trial deck to buy for a new player over all the other ones we're looking at.
Absolutely, especially with
dumb.
a Ricky at uncommon. That's nuts.
Yeah, that's super dumb.
So, do we have room to play the Ricky though?
That's
You think?
my big problem in brewing
Yeah.
is I don't know where you find room to play Ricky.
You find room. I think it's in like that B tier.
Hmm.
I think it's like Ricky's are obviously very good.
It's worth noting that this can tutor out our like trial deck Goblin Slayer finisher that we
Yeah.
splash and stuff like that.
Or
It is a little restrictive
Maybe an
like
8
about
gate.
Goblin Slayer though, but
yeah,
Maybe an
8
8 gate you run like 2 of this for sure instead of
Where
a
you're
drop
running heavy
searcher
on Goblin Slayer,
it's
yeah.
just like a straight plus. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a B plus just because like the restriction would be more important if you know it mattered more, but it doesn't. It doesn't
Right,
matter
yeah.
at all.
But most of the good cards are already Goblin Slayer anyway.
It's
so.
crazy that Ricky's on an uncommon.
Yeah,
That's
no,
wild.
that's
That's
dumb.
weird.
Yeah.
Well, it's
That's
funny in
bizarre.
English, right? Because
Yeah.
the last set with Ricky, like true Ricky or waiting room Ricky, was Review, right? And Review's was a double rare, and Karen's like $20.
Yeah.
I think so, right? Correct me. I don't think. Or wait, I guess Batman Ninja, right?
Oh yeah, Sengoku Batman exists.
those cards are a little bit better though. Like Karen
Well, no,
Scribe
no.
card.
Well, this is also a true Ricky. This is search your deck for character with restriction from deck add to hand. No like weird. This has to go to field.
Right. There's also
you can
there's
play
also-
ahead with this card.
Yeah, there's also no level restriction on this. It's just Goblin Slayer.
True. I guess the restriction though is it has to be a Goblin Slayer. If you're not running a Goblin Slayer, not running a red build, then this card really isn't.
I don't
Right.
think there's a
That's another
single
point.
good tech besides maybe 8 shot that
Mhm.
doesn't run Goblin Slayer. In some fashion, you know.
I mean, yeah, it might not be worth it if Goblin Slayer is a little bit lighter, but I think in most decks this is playable to some extent.
For sure.
I mean, it's Ricky, dude.
Yeah,
It's just good, right?
yeah, it's just good.
We love Richard.
Yeah,
We do love Richard.
Richard's good.
Richard's
Good old Richard.
Next. God
Uh,
damn it. Yeah.
This is like my third Guild Girl in a row. Guild Girl for the future. When our other character with Goblin Slayer in his name is placed on the stage from hand during the turn, that character gets 1,000 power and quest.
Or quest trait.
Pay to rest this draw card.
It's like Giraffe, but worse.
No, we love Giraffe.
Quest. She gives quest.
It's a level
I mean-
1.
If Guild Girl had a longer neck, maybe.
So I guess you can't run Guild Girl Waifu. You have to run Guild Girl X Goblin Slayer.
Hmm.
I mean, you can't just be terrible.
Hey, are your other adventurer? Isn't she an adventurer?
I don't think so.
Order and guild.
When you're other adventurer. So
Right, but that would be other Guild Girls if they had Adventurer trait. But apparently they have Guild
yeah,
trait.
I think she's just order
She's Order Guild
Order Guild.
apparently.
Order
Order
Guild,
Guild.
okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's a pay 2 overcosted plus. And like maybe the effect is relevant. I don't see the point though.
Yeah.
No,
Over the-
not
over-
really.
Over the Priestess back row?
no.
Like
definitely
why?
not.
Compared to the Priestess back row, straight D minus. Like
This is poor man's Priestess back row. Very
Yeah.
poor man's.
if you're too poor to afford a $1 rare.
This is poor man's Giraffe, honestly.
Hey, this card is a lot cuter than Giraffe.
See?
I don't know what that
I
flavor
don't know. She had a
text
longer
is.
neck. She might be.
Yeah, neck's not long enough.
We're really hung up on the neck thing, aren't we?
A little bit.
All
Just
right.
a tad.
Send neck
Next.
pics.
Speaking of neck picks, all right. And Andy, tell us about this priestess.
Priestess, motive for knowledge. When your other order character attacks, she gets plus 1,000 power. when she is sent to the waiting room, you can discard a card. If you do, choose a level 0 or lower character in your waiting room and put it on any position of your field rested.
Huh.
That's interesting. I don't hate
What?
it immediately.
Swings for 6, then double negs into a 0.
Why?
Discard a card when this is sent to the waiting room.
It is.
You can filter a climax, I guess, into like
Yeah.
a.
Why
level
would you
0,
run
but-
this over any of the other 0 filtering tools we saw that are literally fine? Like, you just don't. Yeah,
Yeah, this card's
Well, you-
pretty bad.
yeah. F plus.
I mean, you wouldn't.
Would.
You definitely wouldn't.
Minus, yeah.
Can we just say, yeah, our opinion, you wouldn't? That's this card.
Yeah, I think so.
Don't do this card.
All right.
Carmen.
Okay, what is this? 79. I love reading this list.
Hey.
Sword Maiden, eager request. Yeah, we got the hentai lips. When this is placed on hand to stage, plus X. It's one. This is fucking trial deck card. F.
Yeah, it is.
I hate these. I hate these so much.
These are
I don't-
trial deck cards that are never in trial decks.
I don't think it's that bad.
They're
It's
always in the packs.
bad, but it's not F tier bad.
No, a lot of people like these cards. I've heard them called like assassin effects before.
Mhm.
Because of the assassin and
I don't
Fate Stay Night.
know. I don't think it has anything to do with that.
Huh?
I don't think it has anything to do
That's
with
what
that.
Weiss Schwarz TTG told me.
Oh, okay.
We trust Weiss
Must
Schwarz
be true
TCG.
then.
Yeah, we stand. We stand Weiss Schwarz CTG. Big
I don't know.
fans.
Apparently, this is like a popular like type of card.
I
I mean, I've
hate-
never thought they were super useful, but I mean,
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I hate trying to rationalize a reason why I would ever run this card over literally any other meaningful effect ever.
yeah. I mean, in other
Like-
sets, I've run these type of effects before, but that's just because I didn't have a better option.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And in Goblin Slayer, you probably just have a better option. So I think it's probably like a D rating anyway. I'm not really a big fan of these.
The
Yeah,
only time I've ever run this profile was in my Maki waifu deck.
Well, that
That's
says
literally the only
something.
time.
Very
Yeah, it
strong.
was like a one of in card capture Sakura for me.
What,
I
the
feel like
box topper?
maybe in a set like Bunny Girl with the Koga level 1 combo that has the ability to recur effects like this over multiple turns, but aside from that, it's
Who cares?
yeah.
Next.
I thought
Moving on.
specifically.
Priestess Glaring. If the level of the character opposite this is higher than the level of this card can't front attack.
Why'd you run this over Guild Girl with Encore or Guild Girl with plus pay 1 plus 2,000?
This
This
one's
is a
65.
1065.
Yes.
It's 500 more power without Encore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't hate things that sit at 65.
365 is fine.
I
Yeah,
don't hate it, but I don't like it.
Yeah, I wouldn't play this card, but I don't know. D plus. It's like, oh, these cards are boring. Put me to
Yeah.
sleep.
Yeah,
It's just
especially-
worse than those other 106K blue cards that do things,
mhm.
Yeah.
in my opinion.
But it has
Alright.
extra 500 power.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
There you go, Zach. Your favorite character.
Four in a row. I hope I get nothing else but Guild Girl for the rest of the review. Guild Girl, official smile. When you use this backup, it's a 2/1 2500. When you use backup, you're the top card of your deck. If it's order, put in hand, ditch. So leave a counter.
Leaf a punch.
Punch.
Goblin Slayer has Leaf a Punch too.
Every
Jeez.
time you play this and you cancel on the last card because of it, you look at your opponent and you say statistics. Like, and then you just like move on. Like,
And you made your hand a bit better
it's
in
just
the process.
completely like a complete fallacy. Like, does nothing but like help you filter out a climax if you can't get it out of your hand. But like, I don't know, people still like Leave a Punch. I think it's fine.
I like Leaf a Punch a lot. I love Leaf a Counter. I love Guild Girl.
Filter on your opponent's turn is underrated, but you know what else filters on your opponent's turn?
What?
Torch.
What? Yeah.
Huh?
Torch.
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 And Torch is free, and Millier's your deck.
Yeah, it's not a counter though. It's not a backup.
It is.
Yes, it
Get
is.
wrecked.
It is a backup.
The one
That's
torch.
the
It
whole
doesn't give
point.
power.
Who cares?
That's what I meant. It doesn't give any power. It's an event counter, not a backup, idiot.
I would rather run the anti-change backup over this because I'm running Torch.
The thing with anti-change, I think that's like a debate in general, though. We were talking about this earlier today, actually, Carmen,
Yeah, we
about like anti-change counters versus Leafa counters. I kind of like Leafa counters because they're free. Like you just pay one and that's it.
Mhm.
But the anti-change counters are stronger, but there's usually kind of a steep cost with them. But
I mean, I kind of hate the Goblin
I don't know.
Slayer anti-change counter. It's kind of horrible.
But it's all we have,
Yeah.
Brian.
I'm not too hot on Leafa counter. I'll give it a B-. It's fine.
what a sheep.
I like Leaf
Whatever.
Punch.
Give it a C if you want to give it a C.
No, Leafa, as much as I don't like it, filter on your opponent's turn isn't bad, but comparatively, like evaluating this card in the vacuum, it's fine. But because you have Torch, my question is why, and I think I'll leave it at that.
But
Moving
not for
on.
me.
Well, Torch doesn't get climaxes out of your hand.
What do you mean? You can pitch anything.
Priestess. Oh wait, no, that's the wrong one.
Oh wait, no, it doesn't. It doesn't get climax out of your hand. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, this filters a bit.
Or wait, are we moving on?
Yeah, we're moving
Yeah,
on.
oh,
I'm
okay.
just
Let's move
stupid.
on.
Yeah.
Priestess, together forever. All your level 3 or higher characters in front get 2,000 power, and this bonds with the off finisher Goblin Slayer from the starter deck.
Yeah, so most decks run this as a 1 or 2 of, for good reason. 2K in front is good.
Mhm.
There's so many other like good back row.
It's because
Yeah,
it bonds.
Like,
it
how do you run
bonds.
this?
It bonds to your off finisher of choice. That's worth considering.
Yeah, more hand filter. For
And it
Goblin
only
Slayer.
costs 1. It is 1 cost 2K in front bond to your target. That's really efficient.
Mhm.
That is true. I guess in non-standby builds, this would be pretty.
Yeah,
Pretty
it's
nice.
it's a lot better in the Priestess builds. Because you're supporting Priestess because she's level 3. You're kind of centralizing around that. Your
Right.
finisher in that deck when your Priestesses don't get there is the Trial Deck Goblin Slayer, like for sure.
Oh, that is a good point. That is a
Yeah,
good
yeah,
point.
yeah. So, I think it has a lot of use. It's aggressively costed. Filters for a meaningful card. B+.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I could get on board with that. Yeah.
All right, moving on. Who
This
dis?
one's you, Carm.
Oh Jesus, they're always blindsiding me. Priestess, what's a consultation? It's a bottom decker suicider for anti-change. Anti-change bottom decker. Yeah, cool that they got one. We talk about these things all the time. Bombs in English. Bombs that
It has to
remove
bottom decker stock bomb or something.
Yeah, bombs that hard remove in English that aren't the Remy bomb. The only one that gets a pass because it clears 2 lanes. In the list that's running. Have to hard remove zone to be effective because of Love Live Sunshine running around.
Thanks, Love Live Sunshine.
Unrestricted.
Love
So
Live.
because of that, I'm gonna give it a B.
Yeah.
Especially in context of the set, because they only have they have ditch 2 waiting room anti-change backup. That's it.
I mean, if you're in blue, I would consider running this over the Ditch 2 anti-change, just solely for the fact that this is hard removal.
Yeah.
Like if you have an inefficient anti-change counter, just running a pay 1 for a bottom deck bomb seems maybe better.
Mhm.
Just let them hit you with the big card once and then just get rid of it.
Right.
Yeah. Just say no. Just like Priestess here. All right, let's move on.
Okay, we've got Priestess, Arbitrary Sense. Frontal 500 power assist. When you play an event, you may pop this card to stock. That's interesting.
Free stock.
It is free stock. We do like free stock.
It's
And
free
you can
stock.
control when you do it too. That's not
You
bad.
gotta play the card, but the stock's free.
All right, Tim, calm down.
You can't feed that to your family. Throw it back. Yeah, this is like fine.
Yeah.
I think there are better assists to sit in the back row. It's not global, but like, I don't know, free stock
Free
charge.
stock.
Free stock, yeah. C+ for free stock.
I'm gonna actually
I
Okay, wait. Let's roll back. Do you play events in the yellow deck? Like standby shot,
In
8
8
shot, X shot. Do you play events?
You play dice, of course.
Of course. Yeah.
Other than dice, what would you play? If you play like gate shot,
If you play gate shot,
maybe there's a way with like the what was it? The priestess, the Snotqua priestess, and this card. There's a way for you to build enough stock playing gate.
There's that Bones event, I guess.
Like playing gate.
Yeah,
Oh
there's the
yeah,
Bones
maybe you play
event.
bones. Yeah, so bones.
Ice Bones.
Maybe this and the Snotqua priestess are a way to make gate shot work with normal 1/0 Goblin Slayer.
Now you just play Dragon Bones.
See, I kind of like this in like a standby deck because you can open up your back row on your standby turn if you want. I kind of like the like it's kind of good whenever in the game because of the assist. Like it's kind of good early on with that, and later on you can just turn it into stock when you want to.
Because there are events that are backups, you can
And
turn
like
this
Goblin
into,
Slayer has so many good.
you could turn this into
Event.
stock.
Oh yeah, they're backup
Yeah.
events too. Yeah.
You could turn this into stock on your opponent's turn, which may or may not be relevant.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll keep with C+.
I'm gonna bump it to the B range. I think free stock's always good, and it's
Yeah.
like universally useful otherwise too.
Free
could
stock.
potentially be really good. Yeah.
You got to play the event, but the stock's free. And by that I mean you had to play this card to the field, so it goes like minus a half.
I think it could be really good in like a standby build. I think it's
Yeah,
one to consider if you want extra stock. Maybe that standby. What was the standby shot list you were talking about, Carmen? The
Yeah. Like just stand by with the 0 with the cowgirl and then the dwarf shot at the top. Something I want to mess with, but all right, yeah, let's move on.
Priestess, Spirit of Repayment.
Is this
All your
priestess?
other
Is that Priestess?
I don't
It's
think it's a
different priestess.
priestess. Is
I think it's a
pri-
guild girl. It's Zach's
Oh,
card.
it's a different priestess. What? What? There's
You know,
more
this,
than one.
This charming, no characters actually named thing is actually really confusing. All your other rookie warrior new experience gain 500 power in the following ability. Act. Send this card to the waiting room. When your other order characters front attack, you can pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your characters in battle, and that character gains 1500 power until end of the turn. And it bonds with rookie warrior new experience with this card.
So it turns your vanillas into field backups.
Yes.
I mean, maybe this is an apple bond, but it's not an apple bond.
Gross.
I hate this card.
F. F plus because it can filter your hand.
Not even. Still F.
Yeah.
I think if, again, I think if
F
it were like an
plus, it can
apple bond, it
filter
would
your
be
hand.
like reasonable.
Making a front row card a field backup is bad. Like that's just saying, yeah, my vanilla died, so I'm gonna sack it to like. Okay, wait. Now that I said that, maybe that's not that bad. If my card got reversed, I can turn it into something better.
Or you just open up a lane and they don't get a reverse anymore.
Maybe. I don't know.
You guys were raving over stupid BatClan Batman and Batman.
Yeah, well,
Set.
Backman is a good card, and this is a bad card. So checkmate, Andy.
What do you?
Your response? No, wait.
I mean-
Let me rephrase that. Andy, you're an idiot. Your response?
I'm not an idiot. I'm a genius. And this card, I don't know. It's not that good. I mean, what field backups are all right in general, but I mean, this card's like not good.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Man,
Field backups have their place, but
There's
I
no
wish
real
this were an
benefit.
apple bond instead. Then it might be useful.
yeah, where's BatClan when you need it?
All right. Let's just move on.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's do that.
Sword Maiden, Invaluable Miracle. Everybody in the club gets 500 power. Put this card into your clock. Choose a miracle of the shared bed virgin resurrection in your waiting room and return it to your hand.
Yeah, this is a good card.
What's so funny about that, Carmen? It's what the card's called.
I just think the like translated name is very funny. Just I was thinking
your
about
mind out of the gutter. This is a children's card game, dude.
I was thinking about what they would call this card in English, and like I'm sure it'll be something cringy.
Oh, probably.
But I mean, Global 5. This sits on the board, so as a Global 5, has good synergy with the Chaser, so you don't feel bad about having it in your deck. It also enables you to run the heal event as a one-of, which is pretty strong.
Yeah.
This card is a serviceable card on its own as a Global 5 with decent synergy with your 0 game that wants to like control the board, and then it also just turns itself into a heal 5 event. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
I think I'm gonna give it what I gave the one that sent itself to stock, the other 500 assist.
I think
it's kind of like a similar role because it's a global 500 and then you can turn it into something later on.
I'll do B straight. Yeah, I think that
That's what I'm
like
thinking.
it turns into a card that might just steal you the game. I don't want to spoil that card because like I think there's a lot to talk about that card in general. I think it's the last card in blue.
All right. Well,
it is. Yeah.
We'll get there someday.
But yeah, this enables you to run this other card as a one-of, which is really strong if in deck building, right? You don't have to feel bad about running a one-of an event because you get to tutor it. And you have a lot of good ways to mill, so that's pretty strong. Next. Is this me again? Oh, they're always sneaking up on me, man. Priestess, Slight Concern. When this plays from stage waiting room, you can pay 1, clock yourself. If so, you look at the top 3 cards, add only a character, put it to your hand, put the rest waiting room. It also has an alarm effect. If this is on top of your clock, if you have another character with order, so if you literally have a board, at the start of your climax phase, choose one of your characters that gets 1,000. So it is a Cosma with Ricky cost that only gets characters.
Mm-hmm.
That's awkward. The alarm doesn't make it any better either. Like, I don't know. I feel like can't the promo in Albuta add anything? Right?
The Squirt Gun Mai, I believe so.
Yeah, the fact that this can't add anything and it requires you to pay 1 and clock yourself is really weird.
Yeah.
Especially because the alarm effect is like kind of like whatever. I don't think it's bad.
No, it's just kind of
straight C maybe.
I'm gonna give it a C minus.
C minus.
I feel like it's not. It's maybe playable, but it's definitely not fantastic.
I just don't understand why this is the way it is. They really value the alarm effect that much.
Yeah, that's weirdly overcosted.
It's a common.
It's a common, yeah.
It's intentionally underpowered. I don't know.
Maybe.
Well, it would make sense if it was underpowered, but it's like underpowered and overcosted too.
Anything else, Andy, to add?
Not really. I just don't really know how to evaluate it.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know what I really think of it.
That's fair.
It's like it is like a plus, but
see for confused.
Like you were saying, there's just other better effects, and like I don't know if I could fit this in with all the other good cards in Goblin Slayer, like in the red and yellow. So
yeah,
I guess I'll just agree with you guys and say C minus, but
you know.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I guess I don't feel too strongly on it either way, I guess.
The set already has a Ricky on uncommon, so.
All right, next.
Priestess, Sweet Encounter. When this card is placed to the stage from your hand, choose a character gets 1,000 power. When this card attacks, if Ice Cream Shock, the book, is in your climax zone and there are 5 or fewer cards in your hand, look at up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. Choose an order character, reveal it, put it into your hand, and discard the rest.
These are good.
it's okay. Yeah.
They're nice level 0 combos.
Yeah.
It's a
No
cool,
real reason to run it though over the better level 1 combos, but
it's cool that they got one, I guess.
Yeah,
It's on
I'm-
book. It's not. I like these when these are on something far more aggressive, like Two Soul.
It would.
What? Don't give me
No,
that.
just fate coin flip exists.
It's true. Shiro is 10 times better than this card. Comparing this card to Shiro, this is no contest, but like I don't know.
well, this is a common.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a-
these are neat cards for a set to have, I
It's
guess.
a little weird that the climax combo is also restricted by their hand size.
And it's off a book. That's
Yeah.
a little awkward.
Yeah, a card that can randomly grow your hand size.
Well, I
during-
guess that's
during
why it's a
battle,
common.
I guess.
It does have some utility later into the game because of the on play give 1,000 power though. So that's
Mhm.
something to consider.
I still
Yeah,
think
I'm
it's bad.
I'm also
Though
thinking
probably
the,
not really.
It's not
This
that
set has so many other good combos at one. You might as well just, and you have such a good Dirtle game at 0. Like just wait a little bit.
Yeah. Next.
Priestess Thankfulness. There's mark under this against level 15. This is placed from hand stage. Top check. If it's an order character, place face down underneath this character as a marker. So this is literally like on impact.
This is Futaba.
Or yeah, Futaba. I don't know what I was thinking.
Futaba,
good.
Sato. Wait, they have. It's a common. This just keeps
Futa-
getting. This effect just keeps getting like lower rarity.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
It was a
like
rare. It was a rare in
Yeah.
Persona. It was an
Mhm.
uncommon in Bang Dream. Now it's a common in Goblin Slayer.
Yeah.
Interesting to note, however,
It's a good profile.
it only triggers off of characters, and Goblin Slayer runs a buttload of events.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is true.
yeah.
So
That's
I think Futabas are good, but this is a little less good than the other ones, just because of the stats.
that being said,
Still good.
Bang Dream lists regularly run Chisato and run events because the card profile is so good, especially in English. This is a bust.
True, and I guess you do have a lot of top checking in Goblin Slayer.
Like
I
even
mean-
at the beginning of the deck, this will hit more often than not.
Again, we say this all the time about the Futaba event, about the Futaba profile, and why the Futaba profile is so good. The fact that the marker effect is May, you can leave the card if you want. It's an
Yeah.
oversize with value later in the game, which is not common of other oversizes. So like it does double duty. But wait, how do you find space for this in Goblin Slayer at 0?
There's just a lot of good cards. You just gotta pick which good cards you want to play.
Mhm.
I guess.
think
I guess if you
it's-
don't run the chaser and you need blue fix, you run this maybe because the
I
chaser's
guess.
also level 1. The chaser's an uncommon though, so like you have no excuse for not.
I mean, if you're
having
not running
it.
a red build and you like need that blue fix, I mean,
I guess.
it's all about just color fixing. If you need a color fix, you could use
That's-
this inside the
that's what
chaser, I
it
guess.
Yeah,
is.
evaluating
Just color
Futaba in a
fix.
vacuum, it's fucking Futaba, dude. Futaba's
Yeah.
an A card. Like
It's very solid.
Futaba's an A, dude. Futaba's
Yeah.
so broken.
The only reason it's not an A for me here is because Goblin Slayer runs so many,
Yeah,
or potentially runs
that's
so
my
many events that it
reasons.
has the, I guess, a reasonably high chance of
But
whiffing.
Bang Dream does too, though. Would you give Chisato a B?
I mean, I think Goblin Slayer runs more.
I'm not sure I'd run Chisato in a Bang Dream deck. with a
No,
bunch of
Bang
events.
Dream and Goblin Slayer run a similar breakdown like of events. 4 toilet or warehouse, and 2 buns. Like that is a very similar split to Goblin Slayer.
True. I think B plus is a very reasonable
Yeah,
rating though. It's like not a staple card. There's tons of other good cards you could run at 0, but this is
if
definitely
this
a
was in
good option.
any other set as a common, we'd be raving about it. And if you
Yeah.
if you're someone who's gonna like roll into locals and buy a Goblin Slayer trial deck and are gonna crack packs, you just throw this in your deck.
Oh yeah, this is fine.
This and the chaser, you just like pop those in there. The May effect, we say this all the time. The fact that you don't have to marker the card is so good. Super good. It makes like 5-card brainstorms and stuff later on. Really good. All right, let's just move on.
Andy, this is you.
Sword Maiden, Morning of Rebirth. If there are 2 or fewer cards in your stock, she gets plus 1500 power. As the art suggests, it is an oversize.
Yeah, I was gonna say this art is
Appropriate.
I don't know
And
about
then
that one.
you had-
I like oversizes, but I guess compared to that last card, I'd probably rather have the Futaba still, but
Yeah, I think this is still
oversizes do get better when Goblin Slayer comes out.
I think this is still a solidly playable profile.
It's
I
fine.
think
It's
I think
fine
it's
one.
fine. It's fine. Yeah.
I'm only gonna give it a C because we just looked at Futaba, and I think Futaba is broken. So I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Andy, what do you think?
I think Futaba is a little bit better, but
Yeah.
it's comparable.
Next, okay, who the fuck is this? This is one of the other guild girls, right? Inspector. I have truth.
Spectre.
When this is placed on the stage from your hand, look at the top card of your library, and then look at
Of your
the
opponent's library.
top card of your opponent's library, and then look at the bottom card of your opponent's library.
Ooh.
That's an interesting effect.
I guess it's true to its name. You're inspecting.
Ooh, I like this a lot. 2500's like pretty beefy too. That's
like
not too
that.
bad, and you get a.
Is 2500 basically an oversize?
It's basically oversize. Hey, 25 gets over. 25 gets over stuff, and I really like this effect.
Yeah, 25 is basically an oversize.
You get one piece of usable information and one piece of completely useless information. In
What
my
if your
opinion.
opponent-
If they have a small deck, that's a lot
Yeah,
more
but-
usable.
Yeah, if they have a 2-card deck, you get to, do the effect of the Len Brainstorm. Cool.
And the well, think of it this way too. If you see a climax on the bottom, you can be more aggressive with your swings. You say, okay, top card's clean, and they have one buried on the bottom.
I guess if I'm
Statistics.
That's
being
true.
superstitious, the fact that there is always a climax on the bottom of every Weiss deck, and I'm thinking about it, do I care about looking at it? Because I already know it's a climax. But no, I guess if your opponent has been scrying stuff to the bottom, you get to see if it's a climax or not. Like against Love Live Sunshine, you get to see if they're putting climaxes on the bottom instead of putting cards that are just zeros or whatever on the bottom. But is that worth dedicating a card to? Looking at the top card is the important part.
It seems like a great utility card to like gate, like in like the 8 gate builds where you're just plussing a whole bunch of shit to your hand and you have more cards than you know what to do with. This is a great card to just get out of your hand. You know what I mean? Give yourself a little bit of knowledge and then
I
play
can't
over
see
it.
myself making space to run this. This
Yeah,
effect is
I
not
can't
worth
either.
it. I don't
Mm.
care
I don't
about
know.
my
think
opponent's
it's-
deck that much outside of their ratio. Gonna be honest.
Yeah, this kind of leads back to the same question or the same concern we've been having, where you at Goblin Slayer, there's so many good zeros, you just don't have room.
Like ReZero-esque almost. It's like there's so many good cards. Why would you run this card that's like super situational? I'm gonna give it not an F. I'm gonna give it a D. I'm sure there's someone who wants to run this card. That someone being Andy.
Yeah, I'm thinking
That's me. Yeah, I think this
where-
card's awesome. I think I could see myself definitely messing around with it.
Where Andy will use this card, he'll play it, he'll look at the top card, it'll be a climax. He'll look at the bottom, it'll be a climax, and he'll say, huh, and then he'll sit there and think about it for 5 minutes about how he can use that information, and the answer is you can't use that information at all.
She's pretty beefy, got a good
I'm-
come into play effect. I love looking at my opponent's deck.
I'm using you as an example,
card.
and that's unfair, but I just don't see the value in this effect at all. Like I barely see the value in. Okay, the Len Brainstorm first effect is good because you just get to look at it and it's a brainstorm. This is just come and play, do nothing but that, and I'm a 2/5 body. That's like whatever. I don't care.
I think it's pretty decent. I don't know. I like later in the game having my early game cards. Yeah, I do like the big oversized cards, but I think there is something to say about like the level 0 cards that still do something interesting on play later. outside of a filter effect. Something that can help you like confirm damage on your kill turn or set up a favorable deck state.
I'd never play
Like
a 2/5
I really
vanilla,
like
though.
seeing like a scry effect on a card.
I'd never play a 2/5
example.
vanilla. I'd never play a 3K vanilla. Like,
Well, clearly you're not playing the right cards in Bunny Girl.
oh my god, people running the Futaba.
It's so good.
The dumbest thing ever. Bunny Girl's not a good enough set to have more than one relevant build. Sorry.
Just you
Sorry,
wait, Carmen.
guys.
Just you wait.
I think there's a lot of potential throughout the whole game with this, though. I think like early on, it's big enough that it might live back to your turn, and later in the game, you can still liquidate it out of your hand in a pretty satisfying way. I'm going to stick to my guns and leave it with the B. I think there's a little bit of potential here.
Downgrading it to F- next.
Okay.
I'm just not a fan, but
All right, Guild
Make some
Girl,
good points.
figured out. When this card is placed to the stage from your hand, choose one of your order characters. That character gets 1500 power for the turn. When this card is placed to the stage from your hand, you may rest 2 of your standing characters. If you do choose one of your characters, that character gets the following ability. When this card's battle opponent is reversed, put the top card of your deck to your stock. So here's the card that gives you the blind stock on reverse. And it's kind of bad.
kind of bad.
Okay. I was trying to be nice.
F+. This is terrible. This is garbage. I'd
Yeah,
rather
it's-
run a vanilla over this.
That's a little harsh.
It's
And
It's
you're
way better than
right.
a vanilla. You get 1500 to something else.
I would rather
Yeah.
spend my turn playing a trial deck draw brainstorm with my
I
tap
guess
down.
I guess it can give itself the 1500. It can sit at vanilla stats for 1 turn.
Ugh,
Are you
gross.
ever gonna use that second ability though, Brian?
I mean, I like free stock.
I hate free stock.
That's a lot of resources. That's a lot of resources to dedicate to free stock, though.
I've changed my mind. I hate free stock. No. I don't like this card at all.
I think it's the definition of a niche card, though. You know, being able to like, it has some stock building capability. It has power pump capability. 1500 on play is not too bad. I think you're underrating it a little bit. I think there's like some potential, but it's not a super good card.
She can rest herself. You can play her to the back row, pump something else, and
Mhm.
tap down
Rest
this
herself,
another
and then
card.
she's a shitter the next turn. I think
Alright.
F's very harsh, but
I'll give it
I don't care. I just want to move on. We're almost done. Let's just
D
finish this.
minus. All right.
I
Oh.
want to go to bed.
Yeah,
right.
let's round off the
right, Zach.
character's strong. We got a 5/5 vanilla that has another card that can turn it into an on-field backup.
D.
So yeah.
Throw some D's on that. That vanilla.
You're saying this is better than the last card, Carmen? Come on. Are you
would-
fucking kidding me?
I would
It
run this
stays at
over the.
5/5.
Yeah,
It
I would
stays
run
at
this over the
5/5.
last card 9 times out of 10.
Oh man, 0 times out of 10 for me. This card sucks.
We
Who
love
is this guy? Who the fuck is he?
Let's
He's the
just
rookie
move on to
adventurer.
this dog tag.
He has no lips. Are you sure he's even from the show?
Who has the dog tag? Is
I
this
have the dog
Andy?
tag.
All right.
Actually,
Andy
it's
does
the
too.
S-Class Obsidian badge
Whatever.
certification.
It's dog tag.
Pay 1, you put it, or it's a 1/0. You put it into your memory. And then when you level up, you can put it back into your waiting room to search your deck for a character. It's a
So it's a
it's a
ghost.
1/0 search any character, but it's like delayed.
Yeah, it's
But it gives you compression in the meantime.
it's interesting. I don't think it's great.
It lets
the
you
fact-
compress your next deck instantaneously, and it sits into memory.
And then you get your card
So,
out of it later.
Think about it this way:
Okay.
it compresses your next deck. Okay, so if you time your level up at 1, so that because you're a good player and you're sitting at 1/6, and you refresh, right? You level up to 2 and search your deck instantaneously. This card compresses your deck by 2 because it removes itself from your next deck and a card from your next deck, selective. That's interesting. Is that good? Is the question. And I don't think it is.
I don't think it.
Not good enough.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's great. It is interesting. Conceptually, it's very cool.
Uh-huh.
It
But
removes
it's-
2 cards from your next deck. It's like better than Toilet at doing that, right? But
Man,
Hey,
I
why
don't
does
know.
Road is pretty good,
Toilet
dude.
Toilet has to
Just
coin
search
flip
anything.
to remove
can
2
dig it.
cards.
man? Why
it's-
doesn't Goblin Slayer have toilet?
Let's not
why
talk about it.
Shh.
That irritating adventurer.
That irritating goblin.
Just a goblin crying on a toilet
All right.
in a watershed.
All right, Carmen, you got the big one.
All right, let's
Next
finish it
card.
up.
All right, Miracle of the Shared Bed Virgin Resurrection. Choose 1 character in your hand with Sword Maiden name and 1 character in your hand with Priestess in name, and ditch them both. If so, choose up to 5 cards in your clock and put them into your waiting room. Send this card to memory. Damn. That
Seems
is a
pretty good.
spicy meatball. That is so it has deck building restrictions.
Yeah.
It's a 3/4. I think that is more than fair
Mhm.
for a card that does heals 5 and send itself to memory. So it's pay 4, ditch 3, including this card. So you neg 3 and pay 4 to heal 5. Only you. That's pretty good.
You can also grab it into your hand with the
Yeah,
assist card earlier.
This card has support for it.
And
So-
that card is also a sword.
There's and that card's a Sword Maiden, but it goes to your clock, so you won't have it in hand. So the hardest part about squeezing this card into other builds is running enough Sword Maidens,
Yeah.
because
easily.
the number of Sword Maidens you could feasibly play without feeling bad about them are the Global 5 that bonds to this, the level 0 double rare that
The
plus
double rare, yep.
1500,
Yeah, you definitely
or
play that in this
the
deck.
or the 3/2, or maybe some of the 4K oversizes. I don't know. The Priestess requirement's pretty easy. The Sword Maiden's a little bit harder. I think that's the only like real restriction running this. But this can definitely just like win you games out of nowhere.
It definitely puts your opponent in a situation where they really have to make it. It's hard to two-turn a Goblin Slayer player. You have to like get them in one go. Take them from
if
3
they're
to
running
dead.
this,
You can't really like kind of get halfway there and then finish them off the next turn.
This is like a really
they're running
strong.
this.
It's a really strong thing to threaten too. If you're playing like the early play Goblin Slayer, you just grab this.
Mm-hmm.
The fact
It's just not super splashable. I think, like you said, because you need to have all these swordmans and all these priestesses.
Yeah, this is a
Well,
build around
I
card
think
for sure.
the Priestess is easy. The Sword Maiden is not. The Sword Maiden's a little harder because, like, generally, I think you will at most run 4 Priestesses, including or 4 Sword Maidens, including the card that is going to go to clock to grab this, so you won't have access to it. So 3 cards that you have access to ditch, which means you have to hold that card.
Mhm.
Hold an otherwise useless card.
Which
Unless
I
it's
think
the
is-
healer.
Which I think is a fine restriction considering how powerful healing 5 is.
yeah.
Here's the thing though. Think of how many decks are just so good at taking you from 3-0 to dead. You know, you have to be at level 3 to play this, and you have to live back to your turn. I feel like a lot of decks can just get you there all at once, and then
Yeah.
Mhm.
and let's say this card is in your waiting room, and you want to use the assist card to get it back to your hand. If you're at 3-6, you have to clock yourself with that card from your field, right? It sends itself to clock.
Yeah, the only other way to get it is to, I believe the Goblin Slayer early play is search deck for the event.
Yeah, the event.
Yeah, but then it's like you're paying 2 to play this 4-cost event, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you're probably not doing your actual finisher then.
Having a 1-stock overhead going into your last turn is not that much if you want to threaten this. But you have to
I
be
just
set.
feel that the fact that you have to live back to your turn, and the fact that if you do want to grab it with the field sacrifice effect, you can't be at 3-6. You know, like you can only be at like 3-5,
Yeah.
and then you have to run all these sword mains. I think the card is a bit more restrictive than a first impression might, like than a first glance would maybe
I think that the fact that it
What you
has
think?
support that where it goes to clock is like overall more of a boon, right? Because if you're gonna
Yeah.
heal 5,
I mean, it's better to have some support
If
than no
you're-
support, of course.
if you're
but
at 3-4 or lower, it's a non-cost.
It's irrelevant, yeah.
Yeah, it's completely irrelevant. The fact that you choose is
true,
kinda
but
dumb.
then at that point, do you really need that big of a heal, or could you just play like a few finishers that heal you or something? You know what I mean?
I think the big thing here to keep in mind is that Goblin Slayer only has access to like 3 relevant healers. The Sword Maiden back row, the 8-gate finisher, and the Priestess from the trial deck, which I would consider unplayable outside of very specific metas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is something that were I buying into Goblin Slayer, would at least attempt to play. This seems very up my alley.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Again, the coolest part about it is that you can run like one of this and the Global 5 and it doesn't feel bad.
Yeah.
And you can consistently grab it. That's cool. But yeah, I don't know. Are we ready to give a rating on this?
Yeah.
This is a tricky one. It does send
Yeah,
itself to
how do you-
memory too. You know, every card that says send itself to memory at the end is instantly better than a card that doesn't say send itself to memory.
It's almost like a moot point, though.
It's really late in the game, yeah.
I'm going to give it a B. I think it is a solidly playable card that is reasonable to build around if you want to play it. But
yeah,
I mean, aside from that, you know, just trying to splash it is going to be a little rough.
I'm going to counterpoint you, Brian. I think I'm giving it a B+ because I think you can splash it. And I think that's why it's strong. I think that the Sword Maiden 0, because, I mean, like, we've disagreed with this throughout the video, but I think that the Sword Maiden 0 is good enough to run 2 or 3 of. I think the Global 5 Bonder is good enough to run 1 of. I think that the level 3 Sword Maiden is good enough to run 1 or 2 of, and I think that hitting the Priestess requirement is completely irrelevant because all the Priestess cards are good. In 8-gate or Priestess.
Yeah, I guess the question is then, with all of those Sword Maidens that you were talking about adding, when does it stop becoming, or when does it stop being splashing, and when does it become being a build around? Because that feels running, you know, three of
I
this.
don't think it's a build around.
It feels like a build around.
You run 1 of this. I think here's the split. Here's my ideal split. If I was going to run this in 8-gate, I would run 2 to 3 Sword Maiden double rare zeros, 1 or 2 of the early play healers, or not early play, 1 or 2 of the level 3 healers, and the Bonder, and 1 of this event, and that'd be it.
If I was going to try to make this work, I would almost definitely 2 copies of that.
I think you'd have to give up the scroll then. My idea is to run 1 of this, 1 scroll.
Oh, you're trying to run both?
Yeah, like two very destructive late game threats.
That's an interesting approach.
With similar stock overheads.
Yeah.
Isn't the scroll's just way more splashable, though?
Yeah, the scroll's a lot more splashable.
Yeah.
The scroll's also, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess they're both defensive cards, but the scroll seems a bit more aggressive, as it definitely it buys you an extra turn. It gets you to your next turn, whereas this is like
this might get you to your next turn.
It feels like you have to make it to your turn to use this to defend yourself. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas
true.
you can use the other one a bit more reactively. This almost feels like a card where you're not playing to win; you're playing to not lose. And that's
which
not as
to
good
be
as playing
fair,
to win,
I do agree with that. Yeah.
When we're talking about Weiss, a game where you can win more and you can play to not lose and crack back and win, because it doesn't follow the rules of a traditional card game as closely, especially against something like Konosuba. Imagine healing back
I
down
think playing to not lose works a lot better in other card games than Weiss. I think the closest thing that, you know, the best best play to not lose strategy in Weiss is the Neg Soul Walls, but those are still a little bit aggressive because that kind of is your finisher still.
Mm-hmm.
The
This kind of
finisher
says
is that
like
you get an extra
this
turn
card
of
just
vanilla
kind of looks to
swings.
me like, well, I'm getting absolutely fucking destroyed, and if by some miracle you don't kill me, I can spend all my resources and
Well, I don't think it's for those by
I
some
don't
miracle
know.
you don't kill me. Look at all those games where you're at 3-3, 3-4. You are otherwise perfectly set, but maybe have eaten too much damage. Like, this is, like, really good at answering that.
No, I can't drop it to niche. I'll give it. I'm gonna give it a minus though. I think it's a very powerful card, but I think there's a lot of restrictions on it.
Yeah.
I
that's fair.
I think what Brian initially said, like when he first rated the card, was pretty spot on.
All right.
That it's powerful, but a little bit difficult to splash.
All right. Is that it for blue, guys? We done here?
That's it for blue.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. We're going to try to get this out as soon as we can. We'll probably do the thing that we normally do, right, where we upload it one a day.
Sounds good, yeah.
Sort of roll it out.
You promised everyone that this would be ready for their Thanksgiving viewing pleasure at the beginning of the video.
Okay. Well, I mean, whatever. Maybe we'll release blue second. But yeah. So, we're gonna roll this out over your Thanksgiving holiday. Get these all going. What do we got in the pipeline next? I think we got some more recorded games we want to do.
Some more commentary.
More match commentary.
Match commentary.
We got some good feedback because Billy is one of our newer players. I think we kind of got really in depth with a lot of stuff, and with our people who've been playing longer, I think we can like move a little quicker, stay closer to like true match time, less pauses unless it's something really relevant that we need to dig into.
We definitely did. We received a lot of positive feedback on the first deck commentary.
The people really like it. I'm really glad the new camera setup is working out for us, which is good because it's a lot easier on us too to like set up and get moving. So it's good that we can like get more high quality match footage. So look forward to that. What's the next set after Goblin Slayer?
Heaven's
Right?
Feel. Heaven's Feel is coming.
Heaven's Feel is coming. None of us are. Maybe we can get Brett on for some Heaven's Feel stuff.
Maybe
that'd be cool. Yeah. So maybe Heaven's Feel. After that, Alicization. We'll definitely do Alicization. I feel like that's a good set to get something out there for, because it kind of stands alone. I think that's right after this, right? And then Fujimi, if we think about that correctly, right?
Yeah, Alicization, Fujimi, JoJo, I think are the next couple announcements that are coming.
Okay, so yeah, we're definitely going to do them for probably all three of those for sure. Alicization, Fujimi, JoJo, so. Yeah. All right, yeah, just to sort of like
those things exclusives are.
Long overview. We have some like general meta stuff we probably want to get out there. I really like the idea of doing a dedicated video on playing the opener. I feel like
that seems like a really cool concept.
How to play the opener 101, something like that.
How to play Weiss Schwarz 101.
How to mulligan.
That's like a good video actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, just spitballing some stuff, give you guys some sort of idea. I like to give everybody like some sort of heads up about where we're going, since we do a lot of like long form content. So just good to have that out there, sort of what we're working on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, other than that, anybody got anything else?
I think we're pretty good.
All right. Yeah, so I guess that's it.
Bye-bye.
Pittsburgh Weiss Schwarz signing off, and we'll see you in the next one.